I would say that my question is, what is this? Why is it that sometimes this absence is quote unquote present, and sometimes that's really not here? So there's like interference.
That's a prescriptive question.
Okay.
Because it's asking, I could say X, then you can say, then you're going to say, okay, well, I'll practice more of that. It doesn't go anywhere. How long have you been doing what you do?
It's been quite a while. It's been like 5 years now.
Okay. And have you succeeded? Have you succeeded at what you do?
Yeah. I would say that I'm pretty good at what I do.
How good? How good are you at what you do?
I'm currently competing in the World Championship, and I'm first position. So
the World Championship of what?
Trading.
Well, what does that mean? That you're in the World Championship of Trading. What does that mean?
It's like competition between traders.
So when you trade, that's your business, right?
Yeah.
That's how you make a living, right?
Yeah.
So if you make a living as a painter, then how good you are depends upon the quality of paintings that you make. If you make your living as a any kind of art, there isn't, like, the person himself, like there's a metric that one can judge, and in art that metric is usually oneself. One knows the quality of what one does without lying to himself. But when one trades, then would you say the metric is money? It seems like the most money related profession is investing and trading. So would you say that the metric and the judge of success is in that particular profession, it's money. That's all it is. Is that correct? As a soccer player, it's goals. As a basketball player, it's points. As a car manufacturer, it's number and quality of cars. As a painter, it's the quality of paintings. In investing and trading, it's money. It's how successful are you at doing that, and the more successful you are, it's a pretty hard line, black and white metric of money. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So, have you made a lot of money? Since that's your metric in the field that you have chosen, have you made a lot of money?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
so go ahead.
Okay, it's quite difficult here, because even if I do make a lot of money, I would say that I'm finding a lot of satisfaction, and I feel that my life is, I don't want to say complete, but
and that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
I mean, you could get satisfaction from pulling weeds. That's fine. I mean, satisfaction is fine. That's an internal metric for what one does, and that is perfectly acceptable. But there is an extrinsic metric, and what I find is that most people who call themselves X or Y, or a painter, or a whatever, or a trader, investor, or whatever it is, they're not really good at it. And I think people are generally frauds. I don't trust them. Very few people are very good at what they do. So, I mean, the fact that you get satisfaction out of it, I appreciate that and I respect that, because satisfaction from what you do is absolutely, that's gold. Okay. And it doesn't, and neither does it mean that you have to be successful as on an external metric. It doesn't mean that either. And that's fine. Whatever a human being is satisfied by. And I don't care if you make $1, that's fine. If you're satisfied by it, that's fine. But that type of idealism usually is for the books and the textbooks. It really isn't real life. Humans really aren't that way. And frankly, if they are that way, they wouldn't usually choose investing or trading as a career generally. I mean, I can't speak for everybody. Nothing is absolute in that regard. But I raise suspicion and I raise caution. I raise red flags. I raise doubts. And when someone says I do it for satisfaction, I find that suspicious, because that same person usually is struggling for money. And that's fine too. Like if you look into someone's heart and they're struggling for money, but they're satisfied with their life, I mean, I think that's wonderful. That's fantastic. It really is. But that creature is not really the typical situation. So, it's very easy to hide behind things and say, I'm in trading, I don't make a lot of money, or I do make a lot of money, but in satisfaction. You may want to think about that. You may want to think about the veracity of your answer, because I could line up 100 people here who do that profession. And if I hear it's about satisfaction to me, I don't think that's the whole answer. And rarely do humans give the whole answer. And rarely are humans truly exceptional at what they do.
About how we only give half answers, it sparks something. I mean, I was wondering if you would be open to just elaborating on that a little bit more. Why is it that we only give ourselves half?
Well, I mean, what's the question? I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. But what's the question? Well,
I listened to I purchased one of your direct podcasts about a week ago about how the mind lies. And I've listened to it quite a lot in the last week, and lots of different things.
Well, here the reason, there's a lot of posing going on in the world, right?
Right.
And so, and none of this is like, as always, nothing is wrong, but I don't like fake. I don't like artificial. It's nonsensical. I don't care who you are, how high you are, low you are, sideways you are. There's honesty and straightforwardness and there's everything is like showmanship. I'm in the trading business, but I don't really care about money. That's BS. I mean, that's just not. You wouldn't have chosen trading then, right? Now, so like I respect the fact, like everything. If you're good at anything, there's absolutely an element of art in there. Okay? So that's it. And the better you are at it, the much more it's art than science. But there are hard, X's and O's. There are X's and O's, definitely. But X's and O's are nothing close to everything, because then you can just give everybody the X's and O's and they all become great. And that isn't the case. So, this, like, I'm satisfied, and even though I'm in trading, I just, I don't, like, no one gives the whole story, and they don't have to give the whole story. And I'm not asking them to give the whole story. But if I'm asked a question and I sense an incomplete answer, then, all over the web, see people saying, like, I'm a, what is it? I'm an investor, or I'm a, and they're broke. I mean, it's just nonsense.
Right. I'm sorry.
I have no problem. I have no problem with anyone being broke. None. I respect a person who is poor, middle class, or rich. I don't care. But everything is like, look at me, I'm something I'm not. And so I tend to have a keen eye for those things. And people don't like to talk directly. And I thought that they should, whatever. I'm just talking about what happens without any kind of judgment as to they should talk directly or they shouldn't. It doesn't matter. It just, they don't. So if you're an investor, if you're a trader, literally, no pun intended, the very currency is money. That's what it is, right?
Right.
If you're a painter,
yes,
the currency isn't money. I don't care if you don't sell a single painting for all your life. And many of the great painters, of old did not, and they starved, but they were works of art. And so if you're a painter, if you're a writer, your metric isn't money. And while you may want to, absolutely, just to survive, and that's great. But the field that you chose, its metric isn't money. Its metric is the purity of the art. Its metric is the quality of the art. Its metric is the magnificence of the art that is created. If it makes money, fine. If it doesn't, it's fine. But if you choose trading, if you choose investing, then you are judged by money. How good were your trades? Were you successful or not? How successful were your investments? Now you can make 100 investments and only 2 of them be successful. That's fine. That's how it usually works, anyways. But you've made a lot of money because that's what it is. So, like, I don't. No one likes to say that because it doesn't sound nice, right? I don't like sound nice. It is what it is.
Right. And I completely agree with you on this. Sorry, I think my question, I had perceived the context a little bit differently. I agreed with you on all of that. I think if somebody's trading, that's obvious. I mean, every task has a metric and you can just benchmark it against that metric. That's fine. What I was more thinking about, what it prompted in me, I guess, was this question about I think I see myself sometimes only saying half the truth to myself. And why am I doing that? I guess it's the same. It just struck me as, that's a similar behavior as what I'm doing to myself. And
truth is not, truth is a, it's kind of like eating fire for breakfast. I mean, it's not, I'm not even going to call it a learned behavior because it never even gets learned. It's just too much. So truth is not where anyone goes because it's for various reasons. I mean, it's too direct. It's too in your face. It's too hot and fiery and dangerous and uncomfortable and by the way, this doesn't mean truth that you tell someone else something bad about them because you're speaking the truth. I mean, that's nonsense. That has nothing. It's between you and yourself, right? I mean, just truthful to yourself. That isn't the environment in which a human being is born, is raised, lives, functions. And so if something is not an environment in which a human being has lived their whole life, why would they tell the whole story? Why would they not lie to themselves? Why would they not play these games? Everyone's playing games. But why would they not play those games when that's all you've ever known? And everyone that you know That's all they've ever known. You've never seen anything else.
Yeah. And, I listen a lot to not just the things that you've said, but also things like the Tao and how there's this, you to create the environment to immerse yourself or I guess cultivate more opportunity to be exposed to the truth so that you can, it's not even a comfort thing. I guess it's just like change your environment with therefore opening.
It's all about exposure. It's all about exposure, right? What you expose yourself most to, that's what gets into you.
And I find myself when I do that, over the years, I have been able to do that a little bit more. But then I hit this point of almost feeling sick, physically sick, when I think about, I'm going to listen to something else, or I'm going to read that thing again, or I'm going to sit here and tell myself that truth that I know about myself. I find this sense of almost feeling physically ill at the thought of doing that. And I guess I just wondered if that's something that you could speak to, or if that's something that you've experienced as well. Is this, I mean, I don't know. It's difficult for me to articulate the question because it's a physical feeling that I'm trying to describe.
I don't really have much more to say.
Okay.
The last questioner, you were saying about exposure. I wanted to ask you, lately, as I've been exposed to your work, my life changed drastically. And I find myself living in such state that I never want to go back. And I want to ask you, but still I listen to other people's, just as entertainment, like other gurus in the quotes. And will I be okay in this state, or going back to society, even remembering your work as a bedrock of truth? Will I be polluted? And is it possible for me to go back into this old state that I don't desire to live in anymore? I hope I
mean, you can. I mean, the best answer I can give you is see for yourself. Everything has a consequence, whether it's so-called good or so-called bad. So if it's all about the exposure. So whatever you expose yourself to is a consequence. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't risk the consequence. That's up to you. So I mean, I could tell you to not listen to somebody else, or you can listen to whatever you want. All I can tell you is that what you expose yourself to most is what goes inside you.